Hello and welcome to Diabetes Connections in the News. I'm Stacey Sims, and every other Friday, I bring you a short episode with the top diabetes stories and headlines happening now. Our top story, big warning from the FDA about medical alerts from smartphones. They say they've received multiple reports of users missing or not hearing important medical alerts from their phones, leading to cases of dangerously low blood sugar and even death. The FDA warns certain phone settings, like pausing notifications, may cause patients to miss critical updates. In other cases, connecting the phone to a new audio source, like your car, can change the volume of the alerts. They have some recommendations to help. It's mostly just confirming alarms are working before you need them. I will link up the full story with all the suggestions in the show notes. But reading between the lines here, it seems like a large part of the problem is the thousands of unregulated apps that make health claims, not just for people with diabetes. So it's a good idea to check the apps you're using and the companies that make them. What costs less during pregnancy, CGM or Fingersticks? In the real world, a new study says it is CGM. Interestingly, the way this study worked is the cost savings here was not about just the glucose monitoring supplies. It was also about a lower rate of neonatal ICU admissions. So in this study, the researchers assumed all women would use 7 finger sticks a day. That is the ADA guideline for diabetes management in pregnancy. But in the real-world analysis, women with CGM also did 3 finger sticks a day, and those only doing finger sticks did 5 a day. But the CGM was still more cost-effective. Here's how it broke down. The CGM itself cost users about $2,700 and $988 for the finger sticks that they did. People who did finger sticks only spent about $1,600 on their supplies. But the CGM users spent just under $10,000 for neonatal ICU admissions, and those doing finger sticks spent nearly $13,000. That's a nearly $3,000 cost saving in the real-world analysis. These researchers say now they want to focus on the cost-effectiveness of automated insulin delivery systems in pregnancy. A couple of interesting comments from Medtronic at the recent JP Morgan Chase conference. The CEO says the company is now mainly a type 1 business, but moving into type 2. And he says their patch pump program remains dynamic, but no real word on what they're working on or when it might be released. Medtronic does expect its 800 series pump to come in at about half the size of the 780G. Pivotal study in 2025. Beta Bionics says they're also working on a tubeless patch pump. They plan to launch in 2027. This is a reusable patch pump, and it is planned for use in people with type 1 and then later expanding to type 2. They confirm they are still working on that dual hormone system with insulin and glucagon, but no timeline there. New approval for the treatment of diabetic macular edema. Susvimo is the first and only FDA-approved treatment shown to maintain vision in people with DME, diabetic macular edema, with fewer treatments than standard of care eye injections. This is the second indication for Susvimo, which is also approved for the treatment of wet age-related macular degeneration. How about this one? Drinking ketones improves heart health. New small-scale study from the University of Portsmouth. This is the first time people with type 2 have been given a drink with ketone esters, a supplement meant to plunge your system into ketosis to monitor the effect on the heart. These researchers say a lot more research is needed. They only assessed participants on one day, so they don't know what the chronic impact of drinking ketones would be. But this study was carried out after other research showed that SGLT2 inhibitors lowered glucose in patients, and it showed that it was protecting the heart. So the hypothesis is that ketosis can improve heart health. Very interesting. A lot more research is needed. Another pump wants into the EU. Modular Medical looks to obtain a CE mark in the first quarter of 2026. Their patch pump, Mod 1, got FDA clearance last fall. The company says it will be available early this year, but I haven't heard much about it since the approval. We'll keep you posted. New CGM system with a reusable applicator and rechargeable wearable transmitter moves forward. Trinity Biotech announced new pre-pivotal clinical data. This company is based in Ireland and is looking for iCGM approval down the road, hoping to file with the FDA in 2026. Body weight cycling, also known as yo-yo dieting, has been shown to significantly increase the risk of kidney disease in people with type 1, regardless of body mass index and other traditional risk factors. This is a new study published in the Endocrine Society's Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. People with greater weight fluctuations experienced a 40% decline in kidney health from baseline values. Eli Lilly's profit doubled in the fourth quarter, propelled by diabetes and obesity treatments, and the drug maker came out with a mostly better than expected 2025 forecast. Brace yourself. Lilly's quarterly profit swelled to $4.41 billion. Abbott starts a new campaign all about bias and misconceptions when it comes to diabetes. I'm excited that they seem to have worked here with the Behavioral Diabetes Institute, great group. In the study, they found nearly 70% of people with diabetes believe there is a stigma associated with the condition, and 85% of people living with diabetes say they have seen diabetes as a punchline in the media and on TV shows. Abbott's Above the Bias initiative aims to help others see the world from the perspective of someone living with diabetes. We have linked it up in the show notes. When you watch the Super Bowl this weekend, watch for Noah Gray. He's the Kansas City Chiefs tight end who backs up Travis Kelce. He's lived with type 1 since age 18. Gray spoke to the media this week about how he loves to interact with kids who have type 1 and their shared love of fruit snacks and gummies to treat lows. Gray has been an ambassador for tandem diabetes, and he's talked about how he unhooks the pump but keeps his Dexcom on for games, how he eats the same thing a couple of hours before every game. You can find a lot of videos about Noah online. He's really been a terrific spokesman and ambassador for type 1. And finally, some very sad news. And I want to take a moment to personally send my love and my sympathy to the Gaskins family. These are the folks behind the amazing Macy's Believers charity. Janice Gaskins passed away this week after a long fight with breast cancer. I've known this family for years. They are all extraordinary. Their events to benefit others were full of just love and light and happiness, joy, and family. They worked hard to make everybody feel like they were part of the family. I have been reading all of the posts on her Facebook page. This is a woman who touched and changed a lot of lives, so much for the better. May her memory be a blessing. Her life certainly was. As I'm recording, I haven't heard about any kind of charity or help that the family may be asking for or donations that they're asking for in her name. I will certainly link that up when I learn in the show notes, and I'll put something out on social media as well. And that is it for In the News for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Stacey Sims. I'll see you back here soon. Until then, be kind to yourself.
Diabetes Connections is a production of Stacey Sims Media. All rights reserved, all wrongs avenged.